I'm hoping for a really good match. What are you thinking, chat? And we've started. So we're going to check out what Uncle has for us today. But I'm sure we'll be picking up what's in Link's house's chest. Just 50 rupees, but that'll be handy when we get to Kakariko a little later. We can buy bombs, we can do a number of different things with that money. So both our runners are heading up to the escape sequence. They'll need to rescue Princess Zelda. Let's see what Uncle has for us today. The blue cane, the cane of Brian. A lot of runners don't really care for this. It can be a little tricky unless you've been practicing. And just a big 20 in the chest here. Now these runners will want to find a bomb, preferably before the end of the escape sequence, because there's a bombable area just underneath the cathedral, and it's very handy to get that out of the way. And Monoci is opting to attack those guards with the pots, which is a pretty decent idea when you're looking for a bomb. Oh, and 300 in this chest. That's again, that's a comforting feeling. If we need to deal with Zora, that's most of it out of the way right there. We can buy from the bottle vendor. But for now, we're just continuing on, and we will see what the rest of the escape has for us. Yeah, both of these runners very clearly practice the Cane of Brian strats here, as they appear to not be having any difficulty whatsoever. There's only one more enemy that they need to fight with the cane, and that'll be the rat later on, unless they pick up something along the way. For the enemies in this room, they can throw pots, which I imagine is probably what they'll opt to do. But there are little potions that will refill magic. Or, in Monoci's case, you can get a lucky drop of full magic refill, so also very handy. So now we're walking back up to the second floor of Hyrule Castle, where we'll enter the secret area with the help of Zelda. And there are a few more chests along the way. None of these runners have any bombs either, so that is probably gnawing at the back of their mind. It's possible they may opt to come here later. It's possible that the enemies here don't drop any bombs at all. I'm fairly sure in the vanilla game, all the guards at the beginning, as well as the keys and ropes and various enemies in the sewers, will drop no bombs. At least in my experience. I may be wrong. And up we go to the second floor. Or would that be the third floor? Well, let's not split hairs there. It looks like these runners are not going to bother with the... Well, Monoci is using his magic to attack some of these enemies, unfortunately not getting anything. Lyra just opting to gun for the exit. And another 300 rupees. So that's most, if not all. That's very close to the amount of rupees that you need to collect everything in the game now. There's no guarantee that we'll see Zora at all or anything like that, but it's nice to have that security. And we get the key on Monoci's side, and Lyra has already gone through. Unfortunately, Monoci finds no bombs. But if it's any consolation, Lyra has opted against farming pretty much altogether, but we'll soon... Oh, Monoci gets a bomb, but is not heading back, and that's unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. And bombs from the chest in the cathedral. Isn't that a fun surprise? That's just adding insult to injury, honestly. I don't know if Monoci would have been able to go back. I think you can, but I'm not sure what all doors lock behind you. It's very rare that I go back like that, playing either casually or, you know, here, but we're getting a tree pole that's just blue rupees. Nothing special. Oh, and it looks like soon Elminster will be in here to help me out. Worry not, brave chat. Oh, and we get a Lumberjack Cave check, which is just a piece of heart. So now we're getting the check in the Lost Woods here. 2 items here, and then we'll be heading on to Kakariko. A big 20, and since we have so much money, these Lyra's opting to get it, but Monoci decides not to. And a big heart in the Thieves' Cave. And both of our runners opting to pick it up. Entirely understandable. It takes very little time. And we only have 3 hearts without it, so if Kakariko gives us Dark World access right away, that is a little bit of security. So Monoci heads into Blind's hut. And we get the lamp and the hook shot. Another heart and a heart piece. So that lamp and the hook shot are a little worrisome early on. That could mean we have Dark World access by Aga. That hook shot would give us access to West Dark World. But we'll just have to see how this pans out. This may also be a case that we go up to if we get the... If we get a lift upgrade, we'll probably be going to Death Mountain instead. Alright, and a bomb upgrade in the well. Just a big 20 behind the bombable wall, but we got silver arrows now, and a bloomerang. So silver arrows early is nice to get out of the way. That means these runners will have a relatively easy time of Ganon. And flippers from the bottle vendor. Early flippers, not always the greatest sign. But it might just mean that we have some progression items in Waterfall Cave or Zora or something.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I see I've missed another Burnout escape.
Well, you know, these runners have been getting a lot of practice with that. Although this is the first time I've seen the blue cane when I've been commentating. I think it's always been the cane of Samaria. Alright, so Monoci has purchased some bombs and is heading to check the library and the race game. And Lyra throws the chicken into the bombable wall there. Always entertaining to see.
Yeah, it's funny because you can actually, if you do it just right, you can get it to clip entirely into the other room.
Yeah, but I always have to ask myself, is it worth it? And the answer is always yes. Pretty much always yes. So Monoci opting to pick up the 50 rupees here.
Oh wow, we have a vanilla book as well.
Oh, I didn't notice. That's well, that could be. That probably means we'll be going to Desert Palace, I imagine, if we get the boots.
It depends where the boots end up being, like if they are early or not, but it might mean that we don't have to worry about whether there's a key on the torch or not.
It's probably a good sign, but it might also mean that we don't get flute early, which, you know, is kind of a bummer. So let's see what we have here in the dam here. Just a big 20. 2 big 20s. But now we'll get to see what's in Mini Moldorm Cave. And with the hook shot, these Mini Moldorms are a piece of cake. Well, we got Moon Pearl. It's a very important item to pick up early. And a sword, also very nice to see.
I don't know how much I like seeing the sword with that lamp in play.
Yeah, I commented on this earlier. In Kakariko, in Blind's Hut, there was the lamp and hookshot right next to each other. And I have some bad memories of seeing those two items early.
So we have lamp and hookshot and flippers.
That's Dark World access if you don't get a lift upgrade. If we get, you know, another sword upgrade or the cape. So that could be... We could be having some fun running around in the Dark World.
Yeah, I feel like that's just too convenient.
Right. But it also might be directing us to Death Mountain. So obviously the runners would prefer that. But we'll have to see how this plays out. So Monochi's going to check out what we have blocked by the flippers.
I gotta imagine that Lyra is just gonna do the same thing after with these early flippers.
That would make a lot of sense. Basically, if you get early flippers, you better check it out.
So what I'm getting from chat is that neither of these runners got a bomb. during the escape?
That is correct, and they don't have a lift upgrade yet, so they can't go back except the long way.
That is actually pretty rare to see.
Yeah, and the horrible thing is that Monoci actually picked up a bomb, and I think they were able to go back, but opted not to. And then
so,
the
like,
cathedral had 3 bombs in the chest there, which was a lot of fun to see.
okay, so like one possibility is that none of the prize packs of any of the enemies in the escape have a bomb available. That's one possibility, but like it sounds like that wasn't the case.
Yeah, one of the rats did for sure. I think it was a rat, but yeah, I believe those are the only enemies in that area. Oh, we have Cape.
And yeah, people in chat are pointing out you can't go back once you've gone past the block.
Oh yeah, the blocks. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's like the worst place to see a bomb. And yeah, so the cape.
Yeah, pour one out for these runners, because it's looking like Aga.
I mean, if you're gonna do Aga, you want to see the second sword instead, so that you at least have like the firepower.
100%. And we don't have bow, we don't have fire rod. There's, you know, a bunch of things to make it easier. We don't really have those things, unfortunately. And only a moderate scam from King Zora there, with 300 rupees for 500.
Alright, so now that Ag is officially on the table, I am curious to see how many other places these runners are going to go to before they make the play.
I think if we see Agana's cave, then, you know, that might be some desperation there, which is totally understandable. No one wants to go to Aga 1 and, you know, find something elsewhere that you could have picked up that could have avoided it. Happened to me. Happened probably to everyone.
I mean, it can happen, but like the thing here is it's so obvious what the game wants you to do. And if you're holding out for something else, like it's so much less likely you'll find you're gonna find the hammer, especially with no glove upgrade.
Yeah, the no glove upgrade is the mean part of this.
Because like you're now in a position where you have to find 2 items to bail yourself out of having to do Aga, and it's just like at this point I don't think it's gonna happen. I see Monoci going to Eastern to look for things.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. Okay, so Eastern is a pendant. That's pendant music.
Okay, so dipping Eastern without the bow, if it's a pendant, that usually isn't as bad.
Yeah, the chances that you never go to Eastern are pretty slim, usually because it's just so handy. But, you know, it's possible that this could be avoided if there's nothing good in it.
Like, the thing is, like, even if they find the hammer or the gloves, they have to find both of them. Both of those have to be available. So I honestly don't think they're getting out of this rate.
Yeah, or 2 glove upgrades. And that, yeah, 2 glove upgrades would give full Dark World access with the flippers, so. But it's very unlikely at this point, I think.
Like, I think I would hold out for items to get across the river at least, but they have those, so.
Yeah, that's the really unfortunate bit, and why I commented about it earlier. Seeing that, you know, the hook shot and flippers can be a very bad sign that you're gonna have no lift upgrade. And, you know, unless you've lived through that situation, it can be difficult to know what to do. I'm sure these runners have experience with it, but
Okay, so Lyra is skipping out on Eastern, and she's going straight there. I like this.
Yeah, it's definitely a bold move, and I think it's the right play. Now, the unfortunate part of this is routing the Dark World after fighting Aga 1 in this situation is going to be annoying. There's going to be a lot of running around. It's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, it makes this super linear too. So like, what you probably do in this situation is, when you get to Skull within Thieves Town, you just do all the checks that you can, like no matter what, because it takes so long to get back there.
Yeah, I imagine you probably you might want to jump into pod just to get what you can out of there. Check catfish, do everything, because if something if something happens to be in one of those places and you skip it, cancel Christmas.
They actually can't even do catfish without the gloves, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that. Well, never mind that.
So like that even isolates it too, so that's bad too. So Lyra making her way through Aghanim's Tower with just the fighter sword. The ball and chain guards in the first room are probably the most difficult part of that.
With fighter sword and nothing else, it's a pain.
Something I see a lot of runners do is like they try and like spin attack and double spin the ball and chain guards, and that helps if you have Master Sword, but they take the same damage from level 1 and level 2 swords because they sort of act like the other light roll bosses do. So the fighter sword spins in particular, they don't do extra damage.
Yeah, but the fighter sword spins are a lot safer, so I guess it depends on what feels best is probably what you end up doing. And then it looks like Monoci is heading back to that bombable wall and escape, desperately hoping not to do Aga 1.
I'm actually really surprised at how different the different ways that they're going right now.
And nothing. I believe that's all the items that we could have checked besides Agana. And unless Agana had something incredible that led to 2 other items getting us the Dark World access, well, that's just almost impossible, so. Alright, Monoci took a Death Warp and is now entering the Aga 1, has faced the inevitable. And taking it slow with these guards, very understandable, they are a pain. So chat, how many blue balls do you think Aghanim will have for us today? Chat's pointing out that Agana having gloves would be quite the troll, and I have at least once done Aga 1 and then found gloves at Agana, and I felt like a total dum-dum. So it looks like Aghanim is playing pretty nice. Was that 0 actually?
I feel like we don't see that too often in Randomizer. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, I mean it's it can happen. It's very rare, but when it does.
So it's a 1 in 16. Okay, that death. Dark World hits hard. That death is not very costly to chill. Oh, wait a second. Never mind. Okay,
Yeah.
so she doesn't have the mirror, so even though she's defeated Aghanim, Lyra's not spawning directly in the Dark World, because otherwise that'd be a good way to trap the player. So Randomizer has changed that behavior of how save quits and deaths work in the Dark World if you don't have the mirror.
Yeah, in vanilla, you would 100% have the mirror in this case. But since that is no guarantee, Randomizer had to make compensation for it. Lyra taking another chance at the scary Dark World, which I definitely feel for because it's not pleasant. And yeah, with the flippers and the hookshot here, you have to jump into this water area to get around that blockage on the right, which you could normally get through with a glove upgrade or a hammer, but we don't have those because the seed is kind of a jerk. And Monoci fighting Aghanim. Alright, we'll have to see what Lyra is going to do. Whether going to Skull Woods or Thieves Town or checking out stuff in the overworld. Looks like we're checking Bumper Cave and taking careful consideration of the murder dactyls. Oh, we have we have a mirror on that Bumper Cave ledge, but we still can't get there because we don't have a lift upgrade. Looks like we got Skull Woods is a blue pendant. We got a green pendant in Misery Mire, and we know that the other pendant is Eastern. And red crystals at Swamp and Pod. Now those red crystals, the 5 and 6 crystals, will open up, once you finish both of those dungeons, it will open up the big bomb at the bomb shop, which will let you get into the pyramid, and the pyramid fairy will give you 2 items there. In the vanilla game, they would give you the silver arrows and the golden sword upgrade. I should point out to chat, we're getting a little bit of, we're trying to sort out some mic issues, so bear with us a little bit. Don't worry, I gotcha. I'm here. Oh, Lyra finds the boots in Thieves Town. And a piece of heart.
Okay, sorry about that. I may or may not sound a bit better now.
You sound quite a bit better. Oh, Monoci taking a death in Skull Woods. So we got 2 more items in Thieves Town. And I don't know if we picked up anything in Skull Woods other than dungeon items.
So I take it Lyra chose to pass on Skullwoods for now.
Yeah, Skull Woods is a little bit of a hard sell if you don't have the Fire Rod. And even if we did have the Fire Rod, it's Mothula can be a little scary at this low health with green mail, so...
Yeah, that's true. It's still a bit of a curious decision because of how long it takes to get here. So I wonder if she'll go right up there after Thieves Town.
That's entirely possible. And probably, I mean, considering we have the worst of all Dark World access, you might as well get those items if they're there. Get that out of the back of your mind, because if something's good there, and you know, we haven't seen anything there. You know, if it's hammer or if it's a lift upgrade, that and you miss it, that's, you know, you're gonna feel pretty bad about it.
So it's nice that I guess she got rewarded with the Fire Rod for coming down here first.
Yeah, and now the seed seems to maybe be pointing at.
Oh wow, mirror on Bumper Cave Ledge.
Yep, I commented on that earlier, and Monoci is realizing, yeah, no lift upgrade.
Oh, so Lyra must have seen it earlier.
Yes, she sure did. Yes.
I did not even realize that they can't get that now. Because, like, when do you, like, you don't... This doesn't come up very often.
Yeah, the seed is being a terrible tease. We can get the book now, though. Because we got
it's
the
not
boots.
just West Dark World without Glove. It's also, hey, there is something worthwhile on Bumper Cave Ledge.
Yes.
Like, that in and of itself is not that common.
Yeah, and Thieves Town, this room, yeah, Lyra needs to defeat all the enemies in it. Again, no lift upgrade, you can't pick up that big stone in the middle. It's these little things that can throw you off if you don't have the Power Glove. And we don't have the hammer, so I don't know that we'll be seeing the big chest here. Possibly ever. Now, the saving grace of this is that, you know, we started with the Cane of Burna, so the blind fight should be pretty simple. If things start to go badly, you can always bring out the invincibility and attack blind with it. It totally works. Does the same amount of damage as any other weapon that damages is blind, and
Yeah, this fight is scripted, as some people say. Or rather, like, it's deterministic. Like, if you hit him on the first frame possible at the start of each cycle, I'll do the same thing every time. If you don't manage to do that, then the fight starts getting out of hand.
yeah. I mean, it's still, you can generally kind of figure out what the heads are doing and where they're going, but if you get off script and you're used to that script, it can be a bad time.
Okay, so Lyra's at 2 hearts, and she's not pulling out her Cane of Burna quite yet. This concerns me a little, because a direct hit from these heads will do 2 hearts, but she actually ends up surviving.
Yeah, that was very close. Had she taken a hit from one of the heads, it would have been you know, another try.
I think she may have just not been thinking about the fact that the heads can do 2, because that was... Or maybe she didn't think about having the cane, like...
Well, it's entirely understandable because, you know, not having the gloves still can, you know, I don't know about you, I'd be a little tilted myself. It can be difficult to remember all of these things and try and keep it together, but...
and now a fairy pops up.
Of course. And also of note, yeah, we don't want to die on the overworld at all if we can avoid it, because that, again, would send us all the way back around. We'd have to make another trip, so we would want to avoid that if possible. Die in the dungeons if you must die.
So is she actually unable to go through, like, that part of Skullwoods because of not having the glove?
No, you can get up there. You should be able to enter from the right side.
Yeah, like, she went through the left, and I'm not sure if she was blocked that way. I never thought about it before.
Yeah, you were blocked that way. Again, it's one of these things that hardly ever comes up and you don't think about until it's staring you in the face, basically. But we have Quake from the digging game, and that's a nice prize.
Yeah, so the 2 medallion requirements for Misery Mire and Turtle Rock, those are randomized, so...
Yeah.
We'll have to find out once we see that Titan Smite, which we need 2 glove upgrades for that from now, so that might not be for a while. But when we find that, then we'll finally be able to see what these required medallions might be.
Right, and of note, you know, Misery Mire is a pendant, but it's the green pendant. So there's a little bit more value there.
So do you need the flute to access that, which, if Mire turns out to not be required for any of the crystals, then we may not see the flute pop up until Ganon's Tower. That's a possibility.
Probably these runners at this point don't want to see the flute at all.
Yeah, like, it's a nice item for travel. It's actually, it's gonna be really nice, like, once they find the items for, like, proper Dark World access, like hammer and gloves, but, probably more desirable to not have to make the decision on Mire.
Yeah, basically, if something is a pendant, if it seems unnecessary, you don't want to get the requirements to go in there, because that would mean the seed is probably pointing you there. And Hype Cave has the hammer. Wow, we actually have we have a progression item, folks. Wow.
Hype Cave and hammer honestly is what you want to see after this long walk. She still does not have a glove, so can't make too much use of it in the light world.
Now, it looks like Lyra is gonna be picking up the book and checking the bonk rocks. Hopefully she remembers the book is in the library.
So where do you go from here? Do you just end up, like, going back into Dark World? Maybe go to Pod, or take the long way around and go back into... I don't know if she left an item in...
I tell you what, probably what I would have done is just continued with that hammer and gone right into Pod.
When I said that, I had kind of forgotten she had to finish Thieves, so that's a long way to go for just one item. But Pod might be on the table soon.
Yeah, on the plus side, Pod is pretty easy to get to with the one Dark World access point that we have. So it's not a big deal that we didn't go there. So
Yeah, there are some seeds where pod is really difficult to get to, like where your Dark World access is Titan's Mid, but no hammer.
yeah, that one's also a fun one. That makes the flippers very important because that lets you get to the east side.
Yeah, the hammer doesn't open anything in pod directly, but it does make it like one step more likely that if you find the bow there, you'll be able to complete the dungeon then and there.
Yeah, and goodness knows with some of the logic in version 29, that that bow can be deep in pod. I've seen it. I've actually waded through the dark without the lamp and found the bow in the dark maze and was able to clear pod, and I was still wondering where the heck that lamp was the entire time. Luckily, these runners don't have to worry about that.
Okay, so it looks like she is taking that book and going into desert.
This is
Actually, I really feel like there's going to be a glove in desert at this rate.
if not, it's going to be pretty unfortunate because you need a glove to fight Lemolas.
Yeah, there's so many things you just forget you need a glove for because you expect to have it at this point. It's pretty mean of the seed to be making the runners make a call like this.
Yeah, no early power glove is probably the second worst thing a seed like this can throw at you. The only thing worse would be like a really early Mothula fight with nothing, or like a very early Vitreous fight with nothing.
Oh wow, we have a thing here. They're both going into desert at the same time.
Yep, virtual high five. That's really astoundingly close.
I think they've made similar checks, except I believe Monoci has dipped into Skullwood's pre-fire rod. And I have actually never seen that bonk past the antlion. That's pretty good.
Oh, jeez, that's pretty funny.
That's actually... I think that's a really good strategy for swordless. Like with the fighter sword and the boots, you can just poke dash through the antlion. That's what the vanilla speedrun does. That'd be the fastest way to get through it. But that bonk would probably be really useful if you didn't have a sword.
Yeah. So we get a big 20 as one of the items out of here. What was in the big chest that didn't catch it?
I looked away.
Oh,
It must
the
have been
key.
the small key, though.
Yeah, it had to have been. I should have known. Now the question is, do we have... No! Desert not paying it out!
Oh yeah, it has absolutely nothing. They can't get to Lambo either.
That's extremely frustrating. That's the thing, like, oftentimes you'll see something in Desert just by dint of it being a convenient location, like maybe a sword upgrade, but no, nothing. So I'll have to see what the runners do with this information. Do we go into pod? The chat mentioned pod might be a play. It's entirely possible. That first chest would need to be a key or a progression item, but that is actually very likely. Not sure. I kind of would like to know the percentages on that. It seems more often than not that there's something there that lets you continue. So Monoci is heading back into the Dark World.
Do you know if we saw 2 items from Skullwoods or not?
I'm not entirely sure.
Judging from what chat's saying, I think we did see both of them. But Lyra has not seen them, so...
Right. Yeah, Skullwoods, if we already have the 2 items out of Skullwoods, Monoci's probably just going to leave that until basically the very end, or whenever it's convenient. So, just as long as they don't forget.
Yeah, that's the nice thing, because then, like, at that point, well, if you do end up needing to... I see Mothula as a pendant now, so they're not really going to have to do that unless Pedestal's in play, but if it were a Crystal, they'd be able to delay it until, like, having a much better sword, make the fight a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see what we got out of the first pod chest. And it's a key, of course.
It was like it's really likely to be a key at this point because they're running out of options. So I didn't expect it to be bow locked.
If I had to do some napkin math, I would say that particular chest probably has like a 67% chance, like a 2 in 3 chance of being a key. So
yeah, maybe, but it like the chance in like your particular seed kind of changes from your point of view with like what you have up to that point, if that makes sense.
For sure. We got the bug catching net, which is, well, I mean, it's an item.
It is an item. I don't think it has any bearing on logic except
Oh.
for swordless mode. But, yeah,
Finally.
I see that glove.
Finally, we get a lift upgrade. Oh, jeez. So it turns out Pod was indeed the play to make.
Now, one thing I've seen before is I've seen both lift upgrades in Pod. We might see that.
That's entirely possible. It looks like Monoci might be doing the... Okay, he's heading back. I was wondering if they might be setting up a hammer jump or something. But is opting to go back for the Stalfos basement.
Yeah, I think he's still looking for the big key.
That's a good point.
It's really hard to route this dungeon up the mirror. That's... I like calling this dungeon Mirror Palace because of that. Because when you do have it, you use it like 6 times.
Yeah, it's pretty obnoxious otherwise. And setting up death warps here is a pain too. So Monoci's checking out that what in vanilla has a big key, and it's just a regular key. There's a very good chance that that chest has just a small key in it.
So it looks like Lyra actually decided to make the call on Skullwoods instead of Pod, walking all the way back over there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to net her anything, except maybe some ease of mind. But then, not getting anything, what kind of mind easing is that?
Yeah, it's like, It's an interesting play because it is the fully clearable dungeon, but it's also a much further walk from where she was.
Yeah. Yeah, it might have been better to have routed that in a little earlier and gotten it out of the way. Unfortunately, we don't have the mirror, so we can't even do a pedestal check.
Yeah, and from what we know, the pedestal having an item would be the only reason to beat Mothula.
Alright, so chat, we know what you like to do. What can be on that pedestal? For one thing, the ice rod, because the ice rod is a big jerk. Bow cannot be on the pedestal, so that's at least something.
Samaria can't be on it because Myra's a pendant.
Yep. Yeah, Myra being a pendant prevents a lot of shenanigans from happening, actually, so that's pretty decent.
I don't think we have too many possibilities.
Yeah, it'd have
aside from Ice Rod and
medallion. Yeah, basically.
Which are, like, I think those are the boring possibilities. Because they're kind of one-offs.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't even need to bring up the fetch quests. Or a chain of fetch quests. We will not speak of that evil. So Lyra's fighting Mothula here. Needs to be a bit careful. Oh, opting for B strats.
Yeah, this is the only boss that the bee actually damages.
Yeah, unfortunately it can make the fight a little more unpredictable. But Lyra needs to be careful here because...
It's also not a gold bee, so it didn't last very long. But yeah, she's in a really precarious position.
Yeah, Mothula with the green mail that will do 2 hearts of damage, and those spikes will do 1 heart of damage no matter what you have, so... Oh no, taking a death after some really good dodges, too.
Yeah, this is rough, because she's used most of her magic now.
Yeah.
So she... for the mummy room, and then she'll probably be short if she wishes to rematch Mothula.
Well, she can head back. Well, it looks like. Oh, nope, continuing. Was thinking about saving and quitting and coming back another day. But I think maybe she wants to check that big key chest. And Monoci is heading for a fight with Mothula right now.
Okay, he used a lot of magic in the mummy hallway, but he also got all of it back from that large magic drop.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I tend to be very liberal with the use of the fire rod here. So I can get to Mothula faster. If I have the hammer, I'm usually pretty confident. But the hammer Mothula is no fun if you have not done it a bunch.
Yeah, the hitbox is really difficult to land hits with, and even if you do, you might just knock Mothula into a spike anyways and nullify all that damage.
Right.
Personally, I try and save as much magic as I can reasonably in the hallway.
Yeah.
At least, like, I'm pretty decent at dodging the mummies. But...
Oh, Monoci taking a death after getting what seemed like a forever amount of hits on Mothula. But
he has a fairy. Not sure where that came from. Well, he found the net pod. I don't know, see if he caught a fairy somewhere, or if he found one in a bottle already.
Oh, be careful! Oh, but finally Mothula goes down. Oh, and it looks like Mothula did have the last item, but it was just 50 rupees.
Yeah, so chat raises a good point. Monochi knows where that mirror is, and he has the glove, so he's able to get it. And that is probably the way forward as of now.
Yeah, actually, had I been doing the same situation and had I thought of it, I definitely would have gotten that before heading into Skull Woods, and then I could also make a pedestal check. It seems unlikely that we're going to have a pedestal required seed, but taking a few moments to check it out can definitely inform your decisions for the rest of the run.
Now what do I want to know?
Oh, Monochi's going to pick up that mirror there.
I'll probably go up to Death Mountain. I can't really think of anything else you can do with it at this moment. Oh, actually, Swamp. This opens up Swamp.
Yeah, Swamp is a play. Death Mountain is a play. I would think Death Mountain might be the best first play, just because you can get a bunch of items there, but
he's going for Graveyard Ledge. This is an often overlooked location.
Yeah, you definitely want to get this in King's Tomb while you have that mirror. Get those out of the way. Well, just a single arrow here, so nothing yet. Yeah, it's easy to forget sometimes that King's Tomb, you can get there by using the mirror. In this case, it turns out to be nothing, but it looks like Lyra is making the play on Pod, which is a good thing. I was kind of wondering what she was doing, maybe doing some meditation on what to do next.
Yeah, I saw in chat that mentioning that she got a potion, so she'll be able to do the potion glitch, which is a pretty recent find. That'll unlock the camera and be able to trick the game into thinking that she's killed the mimics by scrolling them off the screen.
Yeah, I love that trick, and will take any chance I can to do it. Mainly because it's fun, but it can be useful too. It certainly gets those items out of the way, so you don't need to bother with it later.
I personally think it's of questionable value, and I don't know that I'd go out of my way to do it, but it can have its uses.
Yeah, if I had a bottle that happened to have a potion in it, I'd go for it. Or if I visited the witch for some reason on other business, then I would probably pick a potion up or something. But it's really just for convenience.
I've seen like one unique thing about it is that it can bypass a bow-locked pod, basically. So like the first chest not having a key, as long as you have the hammer, you will be able to access the rest of pod with the potion glitch, and that is a pretty huge logic break. So
yeah,
your mileage may vary with that.
It can also and this pod is a crystal, and so probably it's not worthwhile at all to do. But if it's a pendant, and there's a logic where you are forced to double dip pod, I mean, that can save you an entire trip, so...
Oh, yeah, that's actually a really good point. If it's a pendant, it totally could save you a dip. And you wouldn't necessarily need the bow to, like, need to finish it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think Monochi found much of anything at his catfish and Zora check. But he is making the play on Swamp now. It's not a particularly attractive play.
Well, we have all the items to make it happen, so, you know, at some point you have to say, well, this is probably what to do next.
It is a crystal, so I'm curious if we'll skip left side or not. Left side is like a 2 to 3 minute time sink for 2 item locations. It's something that if Swamp is done, it's you usually see it more if Swamp is done later than this. When you're much closer to going, but...
Right. It's also possible that you would skip the left side and come back in and collect the left side and take out the big chest while you're at it. I guess it depends on how you're feeling at the moment. And if you like picked up on we got a compass earlier, so that doesn't bode too well.
You know, like usually the biggest reason to skip left side is because you're thinking that the items that you potentially find or don't find later in the dungeon are going to influence whether you decide to dip back into it or not. And then, yeah, there is the thing if Big Key is late in the dungeon near the bag, that's a trip back to the big chest you'll have to take anyways.
Right. I mean, if there were like a decisive way of going through Swamp that paid off every time, everyone would do it, right? It looks like Lyra's going to finally check the back of Escape, which is going to have nothing, but at least it'll allay any fears.
Yeah, like you kind of can't pass this up. You have to check it. It's 3 really easy items, and she's also checking it much faster than Monochi was able to.
Yeah, and you know, if you forget it, and it's very easy to do in this mode, it could be a disaster. So we want to prevent that.
Yeah, I've actually had standard seeds where I was completely stuck because I forgot that you don't logically need the lamp to do the escape double dip.
Yeah, I believe that might have been a change in logic at some point, where they gave the free cone of light. Maybe it's version 28. I'm not entirely too sure, but that is what I've heard.
It was like when open mode started becoming more popular, and I do standard after that, I would forget.
Very, yeah, I can definitely see that. And Monoci is opting for the spin strats, which,
Yeah.
you know, looks fun. It's fun to do, but it's also kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's really easy to accidentally poke the puffs and lose your sword charge by doing that. Another thing a lot of people do is try and hook to puffs and then menu to the hammer after that. That's a bit slower than this, if you're able to pull this off well enough.
Yeah, and opting for the fire rod to finish the deal. Very sensible. It's the best weapon that Monoci has right now.
Alright, he gets a double hit with it on the first cycle. Not quite as lucky on the second.
Yep, but finishes the job. Very respectable. I have a concern what Lyra is doing here. She did not pick up the mirror yet, and is heading over to Death Mountain. Which, it might not make a difference, but I would feel a whole lot better having that mirror in my hands when heading up here, just in case I get that second lift upgrade.
Yeah, they both put off the mirror like a little more than really makes sense to if you think about it.
The mirror is one of those things that just helps so much in routing that I'll probably waste time getting it if that's the case.
I mean, it's really not a waste of time in this case. Like, it's useful enough that it would be beneficial to get it earlier.
Yeah.
It's not going to bar Lyra from too much here. Like, the only really bad thing is if there's an important item on the Death Mountain Island. Actually, she doesn't have Titans anyways, so she can't get it just yet.
Right.
But it does help significantly with... I was gonna say it helps significantly with routing on Death Mountain, and then I remembered it doesn't really even do that without Titans, but if you can't get to the Dark World.
Right.
So
If
you're
you're,
actually probably fine without it.
yeah, as long as you're careful with your routing decisions up here, it should be fine.
So we have the shovel in Paradox Cave, and we did see the mushroom in the waterfall room in Swamp for Monoci.
Yay, fetch quests.
They aren't in terrible spots, honestly. Like, they aren't in spots where you have to like really double dip anything. And
Yeah, and that floating island is just a piece of heart. So it's very unlikely we'll see these runners pick that up.
I guess, so, in Lyra's position without the mirror, if she wants to go to Hera, she's jumping down to get the Spiral Cave item now. If she wants to go to Hera, she'll have to climb Paradox Cave again and go across the Hammer Bridge, so that's going to be fairly slow.
Oh, and Monoci gets the big key out of the left side of Swamp. Probably much preferring that the big key was locked inside the big chest. Which is a thing that can happen.
Yeah, that is as of V28. I think it's like 6 specific chests can have like a key for key situation that can make them inaccessible.
And just a full heart. Yeah, I believe Skullwoods, Big Chest, the basement of Hera, things like that. Speaking of Hera, Lyra is heading up.
I think the other two are 2 of the keys in Pod. The Big Key Chest and Harmless Hallway.
Oh, we get the big key right away in Tara Harris, so that's a bonus.
Yeah, it's always nice to see. It means you might not have to do the basement. Though actually, if you are forced to do the basement for the big key, then that takes away a possible like decision you'd have to make.
Right. What was in the basement? I didn't see what was in the basement, so I don't know if we have one item or not.
Yeah, I didn't see, but maybe we'll be able to tell if Lyra skips the big chest or not, because she now has one item that I've seen. Okay, yeah, so she knows the 2 items in there, and she's just gonna go to Moldor take him out.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Why bother with picking up something that you know is going to be a compass or map or something? And
So
Lyra...
unless that shovel leads to something, we did not find much of anything in terms of progression on Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's it's kind of upsetting. But Lyra takes Moldorm down, opting to use the strat where you hold out your sword so that the hammer's hitbox makes a little more sense.
That's a weird strat to use, like on Moldorm in particular, because you just easily end up poking Moldorm and doing less damage.
And Monoci checks the Bombos tablet, which has a fairy in a bottle.
That's at least the second fairy in a bottle, I think.
And Monoci now has everything necessary to take out Lamolus, so I imagine that is on the docket.
We're still looking for Titansmith mainly. Titansmith's gonna open up Ice Palace.
Yep, Ice Palace and Turtle Rock. And those are required dungeons.
And yeah, still need the Ice Rod for Total Rock, and that's going to be...
Monoci's only on 1.5 hearts. They'll have to be pretty careful. Like, the Lamolus don't do much damage, but if you get tagged by them a couple times, which is easy to do, that could pose a problem.
I think I'll be...
Yeah, I imagine there's no cause for concern, but...
There's also 2 hearts in this room I'll pick up.
Yeah, opting to pick those up. Very sensible.
He's also lighting the torches using 2 fire rod shots in 2 different rows. It's faster to do 3 shots, 1 in the row at the top and 2 each as you're passing the bottom ones vertically.
Yes, but he wanted those 6 fire rod shots for Landmos themselves.
Yeah,
Getting most of them.
Doesn't manage to take out the last one, unfortunately. Gonna take a couple more hits.
And down goes Landmolus. And the bow! Wow, okay.
Okay, speaking of...
Yeah, I thought we had 2 big 20s here, but I must have been mistaken. I probably saw a compass and my brain went screwy. Whatever. Bow is great to have.
Yes, yeah, we miscounted that, I guess. I thought you'd seen a big 20 in the map room. Or the torch.
Well, Lyra finally picked up her mirror there. And it looks like heading to the Graveyard Cliff Cave. Which unfortunately has nothing, but...
So, like, if there were actually 2 items found in Desert before, then going there, at this point, it wouldn't have been that great of an idea. Like, you might want to hold off, knowing there's no items left in it, until you had maybe the flute or a better weapon. But...
yeah, with that item there, it's definitely worth checking out, and it did pay off.
Yeah, it's a good thing that the runners are better at keeping track of their own games than we are.
Yeah, chat mentions that Monoci is basically skipping Death Mountain, and, well, we know what's in Death Mountain. It's a whole lot of nothing. So, that seems to have been the right play. And Chad also mentioning, unless the shovel has something, which, you know, it's pretty unlikely, but you never know.
Yeah, from our point of view, it gets more unlikely now that we've seen progression elsewhere. We have the red boomerang and Palace of Darkness. But alongside, that's definitely progression.
Oh yeah, very helpful. It can lag the game, especially at moments where you want it to.
Oh, I forgot one item that we were still looking for. We're still looking for the Cane of Samaria to enter Turtle Rock.
Yeah, Cane of Samaria and Ice Rod, and then a sword upgrade, and then we're in go mode.
I have the sword upgrade. This is like 5 items now. So, yeah, we're 1 hour and 15 minutes, and we still have a lot of stuff that we need to find.
Yeah, and as well as the pendants. We don't know the medallion situation. Excuse me.
I'm just gonna make a wild guess right now that they're both going to be Quake.
I would not at all be surprised.
'Cause if these other 2 medallions are required, then they're hiding pretty well.
But then that opens up the question, you know, if we don't see that fire rod, do you go into Turtle Rock and hope it's there?
The ice rod? Yeah, it's a good question.
But you know, that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves right now. Let's see what the sea gives us. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
find
we're gonna
it.
have to find Samaria before we can make any sort of decision about that.
Yeah.
Monoci whittling down Almasaur's mask with the hammer. And then it's just 1 silver straight to the face.
Very nicely done.
So nothing really in COD either.
So we have 4 crystals, 3 to go. Monoci might be deciding to head up to Hera next. Or finishing up Eastern. This is an interesting play.
Yeah, this isn't a bad idea. Like, he doesn't have the flute, so if he wants to come back to this area, he'll have to walk. So he's cutting out that trip if there is something required here.
Yeah, we don't know what's on the pedestal, so they might just be hedging their bets. Which is not a bad idea.
Lyra starting on Swamp, and we'll see if she chooses. We'll see if and when she chooses to do left side, but she's gonna find a lot of nothing except for that mushroom, which I don't think we actually saw turned in yet.
I thought Monoci was by the witch at some point, but I don't recall if the got turned in or not.
He completely might have been, and I could have missed it.
Alright, so with the silver arrows, Monoci is going to make a quick work of the Armos Knights. So don't blink. The silvers are so nice to have for these Igors too. You don't have to
like maneuver around the room, making sure to get 2 arrows in each of them.
Yeah, the timing on that is a little tight. Unfortunately, Armo's just paying out with 50 rupees. Boy, what? We have so much money. We've just been getting constant money this seed.
Yeah, like even from the very beginning, and we've had both. I'm pretty sure we've had both Zora checks as well. But just like I saw 700 like right off the bat.
Yeah, Zora had 300 rupees, if I remember correctly. Slightly less of a scam than usual.
Yeah, that would help a lot towards them still having a lot of money.
Okay, Monoci looks like they're heading up to Death Mountain.
So what do we have available that we haven't gone to yet?
You know, I'm scratching my head thinking about it. It's
Spike Cave is all I can think of at the moment.
yeah, Spike Cave is a good one to remember because we started with that Cane of Burna. It was available pretty early on once we got that hammer, basically. We also got the I don't think we got a shovel check.
Actually, I didn't see if we got an ether tablet check.
Yeah, I didn't notice either.
Balmus was a bottled fairy.
The chat is saying that we did not get an ether check. And that shovel was a piece of heart.
Still can't access anything on Dark Death Mountain due to not having Titansmith. Monoci showing us some interesting tech. So if you're in the super speed state from doing a hookshot dash or spin speed or whatever, you can actually climb upstairs at normal walking speed. If you are either holding your sword out or holding an object. In his case, he did it with a bomb, actually blowing himself up at the top of the staircase.
I make things go boom so many times. Is that... It's 10 bombs, right? Or did we already see the 10 bombs? Or bombos?
I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, the 10 bomb, not an upgrade, but the 10, like the actual 10 bombs, getting 10 bombs, is fairly new to the item pool. It's not in the vanilla game, but
yeah,
it was
that's
added, for like the purposes of picking it up at Uncle and having it as the option for your Uncle weapon.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm thinking it is, but I'm not entirely sure.
It's only an O away from Bombos, though.
Chat mentioning asking the 10 bombs that are vanilla to the shops, aren't they? Yeah, the 10 bomb sprite does appear in the shops normally.
I think it's a different sprite though.
Yeah, it might
I know
technically.
For arrows, the 10 arrow from. Actually, I don't know. I might be totally wrong on this. Never mind. I know the 10 drop is a different sprite from the 10 you get in the chest. But the chest might be the same as. Okay, that is an actual troll door. I will say that. It is like just jumping off and immediately getting shunted off to the side.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. One thing you gotta watch out about Moldorm is when he just kind of runs right at you, and if you're not prepared, you get knocked off. So Monoci taking another fall.
I've also seen players get like physically stuck inside the rail when dashing down and pushes them back.
Oh, that's awful. I really hate it when Moldorm just kind of like body checks the very beginning so that you basically just get pushed out constantly. But Moldorm is no more. And Monoci taking the 5th crystal as a prize.
Five crystals, but the 2 remaining still seems so far away.
Well, you know, we don't, without the Titan's mitts, they may as well be an infinite amount of distance away. So Monoci making the spike, the spike room play. I don't understand why they call it the spike cave when very clearly there are so many torches in it.
I think there are a couple more spikes in it than there are torches.
You know, agree to disagree.
I mean, personally, I've always thought it should be called the Cave of Berna.
That's right, in the vanilla game, that's where you get the Cane of Berna, and you need the cape to get to it. Or, yeah, or a whole lot of hearts. Whichever. So, where on Earth could these Titan's mitts be?
Yeah, they're not in the Spike Cave.
I was willing to put money on that. Oh, yeah, the Pyramid Fairy. That seems like a very likely possibility now.
Oh, you know, I actually did not even notice that they're in possession of the 2 red crystals. Or that, like, Monoci is, but I didn't notice they were the ones that were available right now.
Yeah, Pod and Swamp had the 5 and 6 crystals.
I forget this in races pretty frequently, so I need to work on that. This is like a good example of that. I don't notice it as a commentator either.
Right. When I do menu checks, I generally don't even look for the 5-6 crystals and rely on my menuing to point that out. And indeed, Bombos and the second lift upgrade that we've so desperately needed.
Okay, well that makes it a bit less likely we're gonna have to search for a medallion.
Right. We need to know what those, what Turtle Rock in particular requires to get in, and we need that Cane of Samaria for sure, and we need the Ice Rod. Man, it seems like, you know, every step forward is almost like a step back. Still a ton of stuff that we need.
Lyra's behind 2 crystals right now, and she still has to. She's gonna find her.
Yeah, this is going to be a big thing. She'll soon be able to clear out some of those, or at least a pod, and make the play for the Titan's mitts, as we've seen.
Yeah, and Monoci actually, I believe he did not even go to East Death Mountain while he was here.
Yeah, just cleared out Terra Hera.
I think actually, like, if I were in his position, he's now close enough to go mode that I would bank on finding what I needed for Turtle Rock in the Dark World. Because, like, if you find, like, if you were to find Ice Rod and Cane of Samaria right here, you could just skip the Paradox skip check entirely.
Right, and probably he was betting on the thought of dungeons giving out items, which turned out to be the case. At least with Desert Palace.
It's kind of like weird to me actually that he didn't come here, so maybe he forgot and is in a panic now, realizing that he forgot, but having Titans should alleviate that, so I really don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, it seems, at least in version 29, it's usually best to grab everything in the overworld that you can while you head to a dungeon. Basically, my strategy has always been, and it may be wrong, to head to a pendant dungeon that you can clear and grab everything along the way. But we get that Cane of Samaria, and that is one big thing that we needed.
I have a strong feeling Ice Rod is gonna be in Turtle Rock at this point, if it's not in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah,
or we could find the flute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so...
okay, there it is.
This
I don't think he wanted to see that.
Well, at least we got a sword upgrade out of it. Oh, and he's, must not have checked the floating island, because that's just a piece of heart.
Yeah, because he did not go to East Death Mountain at all, and his first time going to the top of it is the Dark World.
Well, not a huge loss, but maybe not ideal. And seems a little displeased with that, which I can understand. Oh, and it looks like Monoci is going to... Okay, checked, and we have Bombos for Turtle Rock.
Okay, now he's gonna do Spiral Cave, he's routing it in now.
Yeah, you don't want that feeling in the back of your head where the Ice Rod could have been in this cave or something, and we know that's not, but best not to leave anything to chance. Oh, okay, so I imagine he'll be activating the flute and heading to the Misery Mire, and probably hoping that one of the areas there, not in the dungeon, has that Ice Rod. Meanwhile, Lyra is heading up to Helmasaur King. And we've had the national anthem played for us by Monoci.
I think he is going to give us a pedestal check.
A very reasonable situation. We picked up that flute, and that's a bad omen.
Yeah, this is actually a great time to do it, now that a completable mire is, probably on the table.
But it's just couch cash. Sorry, chat. Not today.
We could still have a required green pendant, at least.
Yeah, Sahasrahla could have that Ice Rod.
So probably what he wants to see here is seeing Mire blocked by Ether.
100%. And it's Bombos.
Okay, so I was wrong about Double Quake, but we do have a double Bombos medallion requirement.
Well, you know, that Bombo showed up pretty late, so it made sense at the time. So, we'll check to see what's in the checkerboard cave. It is
Actually,
not.
completely sorry.
Go for it.
I completely forgot, but we do still have Ice Palace needing to be completed, so that's also an option for the Ice Rod.
Oh yeah, you know, just the millions of hours where basically we had, okay, not actually that, but where we didn't have gloves at all, and then, you know, it took forever to find the Titan's mitts. Yeah, it kind of slipped my mind too.
This is like probably this is like worst case scenario for late gloves, is just having that one go mode item, especially it being the Ice Rod, just out there.
Yeah, it can be actually anywhere.
Like it can be ice, it can be mire, it can be eternal rock. It can be part of the blacksmith chain.
I mean, you might as well talk about what it can't be, which is Trinix and Ganon's Tower, and that's it. Lyra also opting to finish up Eastern Palace. Turns out to be unnecessary, but definitely worth doing just to get it out of the way, just in case.
Yeah, again, because she still doesn't have the flute, and it'd be like she doesn't know where it is. It's gonna be a pain to walk back here if this turns out to be where Titans are. Probably just as anxious about its location.
The fact that we've had so many items so late in the seed, you know, no stone left unturned at this point, and I can't blame either of the runners for being very thorough.
The problem is that once you end up with your one go mode item left and a significant portion of the world opened up unchecked previously because of the mitts, it's like, what do you do now?
I mean, yeah, the seed has kind of lost the breadcrumb trail, and just kind of, you know, does jazz hands and says, like, everything's open to you! Go find it! And it's the Ice Rod you're looking for?
Yeah, it's, I mean, so, Monochi's in Ice, he's clearing it out. Ice is kind of like the standard play at this point, I suppose, because it's a crystal. You have to do it, so... it's not quite as bad to full clear as Swamp is, I would say.
Yeah, and I noticed he opted not to do the bomb jump, which in this case, we, you know, with the Cane of Samaria, the hook shot, it's if you're full clearing, you might as well skip it.
Yeah, it's I think depending on how you route, I think I've heard that it's still faster in like an optimal situation, but it depends how you route it as well.
It also depends on where the items are located in the dungeon. Like, if you get the 3 items early, then if you've done the bomb jump, you can just kind of peace out and head to Cold Stare.
Yeah, that's also true. I mostly try and do Ice Palace pretty much the same way every time if I can. I haven't looked too much into like the routing nuances, so I think in this case I would not do the bomb jump if I was conscious of it.
Yeah, when you're one item away from go mode, it's probably best to do that just in case.
Like, the thing about the bomb jump is if you do it, you've got I think the blue pegs down so that you can push the block down to Cold Stare. That means the orange ones are up, so the room that Monochi's going through right now, you can't get through that room very easily. You have to drop down and climb back up all the way up the stairs, or you have to take a different route to Ice Tea, which probably involve another bomb jump somewhere else. I think you would bomb jump across the gap in or above the big chest.
Oh yeah, I'm really bad at that jump, even though it's easy.
Yeah, and it's like if you fail it, you fall down the pit and you can't try it again. And you're just down here, so...
It makes me very sad. And
So
Lyra...
I think that route is faster, but I'm not a big fan of it.
Understandable. And Lyra picking up the pendant from Eastern, which turns out not to be worth anything, but...
That bomb jump actually is really easy now to think about it. There's a really good visual cue where you just stand so that your sprite is covering the top left corner of the hole. So
that makes sense.
I've never actually done it before. I've only seen videos of it because, again, I don't like doing that route, so I never do it. But I don't think it's a difficult bomb jump now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think with a little bit of practice, it's pretty simple, but... You know.
So Monoci actually not full on his magic part, so he's using Bombos because without half magic, you need 8 fire rod shots to melt Cold Star's ice, which is the entire magic bar. And he doesn't want to burn one of his blue potions just for that, so he's going to use Bombos to melt that. It's a little bit slower.
Oh no, taking a death, but I think he has a fairy?
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of bottled fairies this seed.
Now, another thing, I think Monoci might have gone into this fight with full health, and in that particular case, you could do you use the fire rod, and then you swing your sword. The sword beam comes out, and you kind of juggle Cold Stare a little bit, so you can make do with fewer than 8. But if you got Bombos. Let's use Bombos.
Yeah, like Bombos, the animation is like 7 seconds, and fire rodding 8 times might be like 3 or 4 seconds. But if you're like purposefully waiting, like spacing out sword beams to count as like fire rod double hits, I think that might end up being slower. And like we're talking about seconds here, which significant to some, but like in most situations you just do whatever is like most comfortable for you, because that's really what's going to save you most time.
Right. If you haven't practiced something and you try and pull off a strat that you are not comfortable with, that can just end up taking you more time.
So I think Lyra did make her play for Pyramid Fairy Titansman decently quickly after completing pod. So we'll see what she does. She's looking for Ice Rod and Cane of Samaria, and of course a Sword Upgrade. We know where 2 of those things are.
Right. She'll have to make that Death Mountain play, the Dark Death Mountain. So it looks like Monoci is going to do, I imagine, the chain with the Jeremiah the Bullfrog.
Yeah, so Lyra went all the way to Catfish, which I believe Monoci already checked. This kind of, I guess, like, comes down to, like, stuff they can't really know, that we do, based on, like, what Monoci has already checked and what she, like, what she could skip to, go straight to the, like, the Titansman check, since we know that's where we need to be.
Right. But yeah, now we have, you know, the world is kind of opened up to Lyra, and now, you know, what do you do at this point? This is the same problem that Monoci was having a little bit earlier. And until that Dark Death Mountain play, probably not going to see much of anything.
So she doesn't have too many opportunities to catch up here, unfortunately. She's gonna have to, like, we know nothing's in ice. She's going to have to go to Dark Death Mountain and get that Key to Samaria and the flute. And then well, either dip into Turtle Rock, either make that play, or go to Meyer before Monoci decides to. Which I don't think is going to happen at this point.
And it looks like the quest chain has not paid off, and Monoci looks like they're going to head into Misery Mire here.
Yeah, so Lyra still needs to finish Ice Palace. Actually, she might be on her way there right now, actually.
Yeah, it seems like it.
So I think, like, by the time she's done this, Monoci will have cleared Misery Mire, so that, like, whether he finds the Ice Heart or not, he's gonna have one option after that, and that's Turtle Rock.
Yeah, if this turns out to be if this turns out to be a loss of time, it might not be enough to help Lyra out.
Like, best case scenario for her is Monoci full clears Mire, finds nothing, and she also makes the immediate Turtle Rock play after this.
Right.
And she has to check the Dark Death Mountain caves, though. I actually really like watching people with the Vivi spray do the Whisseropu and Mire, because you know, you're using the fire rod, and you're also like taking out sort of your own kind, so to speak. But it reminds me a lot of the scene in or like the part of Final Fantasy IX where Vivi's seeing like all the black mages produced.
Oh yeah, I hadn't considered that. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we saw an item yet in Misery Mire.
I don't think we did. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, one of them had to have been a key.
Something I've seen a lot recently. Well, two things I've seen a lot recently. One is pendants on both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock. I've seen that a lot lately in this tournament. I don't know what's up with that, because there really shouldn't be biases in the crystal and pendant shuffles. The other thing I've seen an awful lot of recently is Ice Rod and Laser Bridge.
Oh yeah, I'm concerned about that. I was looking back and there's Monoci picked up a potion so far. It looks like they're going right to Vitreous without checking that basement.
Yeah, I think we're kind of dropping the ball on counting items this race. He probably has both of them. No, he doesn't. He has the map and the compass. Or I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend I know. But he might know that that's like he's got his second item, or maybe he's making the play for Mitris since he wants the green pendant anyways.
Yeah, it might be just hoping that Vitreous has a second item. That's probably the play that I would do. So Monoci's heading on up into the Vitreous fight very shortly. And with the, again, the silver arrows, they're going to make this a pretty quick fight, I would imagine.
Yeah, this fight's super easy. Silver is nothing to worry about.
Yeah, not even letting Vitreous fire off any lightning or anything. Yeah, and Monoci's going right back in. That second item has not been found. See, I need to really be taking notes when I'm commentating these seeds, because there's a lot of stuff to keep track of. A lot of stuff going on at once.
I don't think there's a lot of hope for Lyra at this point. Monoci's made his way through Mire pretty fast, and I think he's going to be heading off to Turtle Rock before Lyra has a chance.
Yeah, Monoci basically has exhausted all of the options at this point. There are very few locations left, and they might all be in Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I mean, we're an hour and 51 minutes into this. We're still looking for that ice rod. I can't imagine that he's feeling good about this.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good feeling, especially when you make a play like going into Mire and it doesn't pay off. Of course, you know, we still have this one last chest and Sahasrahla to check up on. Well, that's the second item. It's money. Of course it's money. Meanwhile, Lyra is heading into the Cold Stare fight. And Monoci doing the Sahasrahla check with that green pendant in hand. It's Ether.
Okay, that's really funny.
That's mean. Sahasrahla.
Like, of all things it could have been, it was the useless medallion.
It's like the seed has a sense of humor. But these runners are not laughing.
Yeah, it's also the wrong ice item.
Yep, indeed. Oh, and Lyra, I believe, used a blue potion to get back her life. It was looking a little dicey there, but Cold Stare is down. And the 6th crystal has been collected.
See, imagine how different Randomizer would be if Ether worked on Trinex. That'd be, like, a situation pretty similar to, like, either being able to access Ice Palace by killing freezers with the Fire Rod or Bombus.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
We'd have Ice Rod be far less iconic if that was the thing, for sure. Because you wouldn't necessarily have to search for that Ice Rod for Trinex. You could make do with Ether 1.
But then we wouldn't get so many of these wonderful trolls.
Yeah, exactly. It would really change the landscape of this a lot.
So there are 5 items in Turtle Rock, and we also have Mimic Cave that we can check.
I mean, I think we've seen literally everything else. I don't think it can't not be here.
I'm struggling to think of everything. I think Monoci has just done everything else. And is probably feeling a little bit frustrated that this is turning out to be the play.
Lyra doesn't want to go all in on Turtle Rock, so she's making a lot of these checks that are not going to lead to anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know what the play is, but you know, it's not. It's a pretty big risk to go into Turtle Rock without everything needed to clear it.
Yeah, it is. And like Monoci made the same play not to do that, and maybe very, very worried that Lyra went to Turtle Rock earlier than him.
Yeah, indeed.
So there's also this is the thing I found kind of interesting, is that like there's eventually
well, there it
there
is.
it is.
We're in go mode now.
Yeah, a 1 hour 56 minute go mode.
Yeah,
Not
feels
something you hope for when you get your race room set up and you're ready to go.
yeah. The things that this seed has put our runners through, I feel pretty bad, honestly. The no lift upgrade for so long is just a terrible thing to have to endure.
I did like that strat that he used for the Samaria block in the Chain Chomps room. If the Chain Chomps are like, normally you just lay it like below the switch, either on the left or the right. But if the Chain Chomps are blocking your way to those, they're in the way. You can get the cane block at the top of the room, and as long as it's like significantly closer to one switch than it is the other, and you explode it, it's gonna hit one and then the other in succession, and you'll have enough time to push the block to spawn the chest while the pegs are briefly down.
Yeah, I'd never really thought of that. It's something that I usually don't do that, and just use the Cane of Samaria from below and hope it turns out okay. But Monoci is checking that big chest, making sure that... now, he could have gone and skipped that big chest and moved ahead, but had the lava chest and the big chest both had small keys in it, it would have meant he'd have had to have gone back.
Yeah, at this point, he just doesn't want any more huge time losses in his hands.
Yeah, we've already had enough of this seed. Why leave it to chance at that point?
So Lyra going to top of Death Mountain here. She's gonna open up Turtle Rock and probably check out the caves in East Death Mountain. I'm really wondering if she's gonna choose to go in Turtle Rock. I feel like she may be feeling behind, so she may choose to make that play.
Well, she's opening it up, so that might be a good sign. And she'll soon have that Cane of Samaria, so she'll be able to get in very shortly. Meanwhile, Monoci has entered the fight with Trinex, opting for hammer strats. I like it. Oh, has to be careful, though. Oh no! Do we have any fairies left? We don't.
We think we used all of them.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
Okay, well this isn't, like, terrible to end up here at the midway point of the dungeon.
Yeah, the magic situation is not great though, but should be able to go through that dark.
Turok basically gives you full magic pots. My
Yeah.
concern is here, like before this last Sumeria rail room. Running out of magic here, I think, is the worst because it's really hard to get it back. But if you can get through here, you'll be fine.
Yeah. You had enough for that the platform here, so everything's taken care of. And evidently making some frustration slashes. I cannot blame him.
I think he's like really concerned for his time at this point because he found Ice Rod at the last place that he could have checked, and now he has a death on top of that. And he can't be feeling good.
Yeah, and a lot of runners would be bold and make that play into Turtle Rock as soon as that's open. So.
Okay, so Lyra has decided no, she does not want to.
Again, very understandable, but unfortunately, in this case, it happens to be the wrong play. Monoci opting for sword strats. Oh, and a little bit of hammer to finish it up. So now we just need to take care of the main head here.
Actually pulling out the Cane of Burna for the last Tronix phase. I don't know if I've ever seen that, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, I mean, it's a little bit, not much, protection, but...
I think that was the... Oh no, that was a piece of art, wasn't it?
Where?
I think Tronix dropped a piece of heart and it was in the middle of healing him when he picked up the crystal.
But you know what time it is now. On the Speed Gaming channels, we have a little game we like to play of Where's the Ganon Tower Big Key? And if you are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels or have given 250 bits, I believe, to any of the channels, then you are entered in a little, just for fun, little game of can you guess where the big key is? 1 to 22 are the number of locations that we have. And get your guesses in now. And if you happen to be the closest if you happen to be the closest, over or under, then you'll get entered into a leaderboard.
Okay.
Well, did anyone guess 1?
See, that's crazy because it's like that for a lot of people. That's a 3, and it seems our closest guess to that was 3. So
yeah, so that was quick. Hope you enjoyed that, chat. Congratulations, Ducky, for being the first person to guess the closest with 3.
So, I really like the big key guessing game because it's a really good exercise in, like, you know, how well you can read and analyze a seed. And
yeah,
like, the
basically,
people that have shown that they're able to do that, it's about as impressive as getting really far in the tournament, I would say, if not more.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, obviously we're just joking. It's random. It doesn't mean a whole lot. It's fun. It's fun. So Monoci is clearing out these gauntlet rooms here. And Lyra, unfortunately, making the play into Misery Mire, which we know will not help.
So I haven't made notice of this yet, but Monoci is actually still on Master Sword after everything that he's cleared so far.
Yeah, but evidently he's confident enough to head on up to Aga 2.
I mean, yeah, there's actually very likely a sword in one of the, 21 chests in the basement of Ganon's Tower that he has passed up.
I mean, unless they're on, like, Laser Bridge or something. Because we did not see Laser Bridge at all. Monoci just went blazing right on past. It's also very possible that he feels behind.
Yeah, like, so this amount of search space in Ganon's Tower is a pretty big time sink. I think it is, like, pretty... I would say it's close to a guarantee that you're going to find a sword if you search Ganon's Tower basement, but the huge question is when, and is it going to be worth it after a few minutes?
Right. I mean, for all we know, one of them could be in, like, the big chest here. Who checks that? Oh, but we got a shield upgrade. That's the most important thing.
I feel like this is a place you're not expecting to find that. It's not even on your mind anymore.
And the map. Maybe Moldorm's chest will have something? I can't imagine him skipping it.
Okay, he did a dash as his first hit on Moldorm too, instead of a spin. That's gonna do...
Yeah, but he followed it up with another dash, so avoided that. Avoided that situation of a speedy Moldorm. Oh boy. So, looks like this is what we're going to be fighting Ganon with.
Yep, he does have silvers, so Phase 4 isn't going to drag on too long.
Yeah. But we don't have half magic, and I don't know if he has any... He might have a blue potion.
I think he still does have a blue potion. But like Phase 2, again, is the real kicker with Master Sword.
Yeah,
this part bets are difficult to dodge.
Oh, we get a double here. Another double. Just one more, I believe.
Oh, and we're also still on green mail after all this.
Yeah, I was gonna mention it, but figure I wouldn't want to make a curse or anything. I wanted blue mail to show up. I really did. So this is basically like nightmare mode. Yeah, we don't have half magic. We do have silver arrows. That's a little bit of a saving grace.
One of the things that I find if I make a lot of let's say wrong decisions during a seed, I go to a lot of places that are unnecessary, and I end up getting things like gold sword, silvers, red mail, mirror shield. Those items often serve as a reminder to me that, hey, you went to a bunch of places that you didn't need to, and you have all these good items, but you're way behind. Monoci doesn't even have that going for him right now.
Oh no, he takes a death. And I was about to comment that he was making really good progress. Very clearly, he had practiced this fight before. He was getting double hits on Ganon that seemed pretty difficult to set up.
Yeah, some of these double spins, they can put you at risk for being hit by the trident. It's really easy to get greedy on this phase of the fight. I'm pretty guilty of it myself.
Yeah, and Ganon with green mail hits like a dump truck. You really want to stay out of that way.
Yeah, this trident, this 4 hearts, he can't survive another one. He also can't survive any of these fire bats in phase 2. Oddly enough, the fire bats in phase 3 and 4 do only 2 hearts.
Yeah, I remember seeing that before and thinking about it and was like, huh? Yeah, he's playing it safe now. I cannot blame him.
Yeah, like three spins per cycle is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and you need to get in 12 spins for each phase.
Okay, he's starting to use the cape, which I think he does have a blue potion still, so he can afford the magic gloves.
Yeah, it's probably using up the magic just so he can pop the potion. Get a little more value.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. That's pretty smart. That spot that Ganon warped to, with the way he was facing, is also really bad. Like, if you're on the left side of it, and he's spinning his trident on the left, and the fire bat ring is on the left, you can't really get through it to where you'll be able to spin him on the right without getting a hit. So,
Yeah.
like, he would have had to wait out that cycle, really, if he wanted to get a hit in. If he wasn't going to use the cape.
Right, and Ganon never went to the upper right side, which would have made it a little bit easier. Because the seed is an angry, angry seed. Okay, it looks like it's set up for a double. A triple, actually. And
Nice
down
job.
goes Ganon. Wow. What? Oh.
Triple is, like, kind of what you want to see if you're doing Master Sword Silvers, because it can be annoying to get these spins in to freeze him.
Yeah, you can very easily just run into Ganon, and a whole host of things can go wrong if you're not careful.
Alright, well, GG to Monoci for the win. Congratulations.
And he's rewarded with a early 2000-ish meme, of course. Oh, and the Speed Racing TV official time for Monoci is 2 hours, 12 minutes, 33 seconds. GG.
Alright, so we may have him hopping in here in a moment to say some words.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he needs to take a few minutes to scream or something.
Oh, they can do it in here, that's fine.
And Lyra finally entering Go mode with that Chain Chomp Room Ice Rod. Hello, Monoci, GG.
GG, guys.
So, do you have anything that you want to say about that seed?
Full clear?
Yeah.
That is... Seed is alright, I think. They just put the ice rod where it shouldn't be there. That's it.
Yeah, that was a pretty mean place for an ice rod to be. Very rude. But yeah, I was commenting, early on that the lack of power gloves was just absolutely awful for both of you runners. Where it just limited you so much, and like you got the least of it at least, and
Well, I found the mirror. I tried to get it and was like, nope.
yeah, I saw you tugging on that rock there to no avail, and I'm like, yeah, this is how the seed is.
Yeah, you don't usually encounter that. Like, normally you'll have gloves by that time, and even if you don't, for cave item usually isn't important, but then you try to go to it and you realize, oh, yeah, you actually need gloves for it. That's actually a thing.
Yeah, that just came up to me when I tugged at that rocks right there. Oh, you need gloves. I was like, because I always thought about it with the cape, but never with the glove.
Yeah.
Those Titans bits held out for a long time too.
Yeah, you full cleared swamp and then for nothing, and then you have to go to the pyramid ferry just to get the mitts. Plus, they give you bombos, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I commented early on when I saw in Blind's Hut the lamp and the hookshot right next to each other, and then like Flipper showed up later. I had a bad premonition there, and I'm afraid I may have cursed you runners on this one.
I mean, like, the way that the first, like, 50 minutes of the seed went, you could really read it like a book from the items.
I mean, I found the hook shot, I found the flippers. Like, all right, what's my move, bro? Just give it to me.
Yeah, I was honestly, considering the rudeness of the seed, I was maybe expecting that to be on Pyramid or something silly like that, but luckily that showed up before then.
Yeah, that got me looking for the glove, really, because the glove would have given me access to East F Mountain. I didn't want to risk it, so I checked. The only one I didn't check was Agina's cave.
Oh yeah, I forget what Agina had, but it wasn't important. It's probably money. There was money all over the seed.
Yeah, but not enough bottles to get all those money used.
So, Lyra showing us a little bit of how much nothing there is on Laser Bridge. I mean, there might still be a sword in the top two chests. We'll never know where those other swords are.
Oh, that's pretty
So,
risky.
Monoci, how did you feel when, were you worried when you realized Ice Rod was in Turtle Rock, and were you worried about losing when you had that death to Trinex?
It was that death at Trinex and then a death at Ganon. That was pretty bad. I had it set up for the 2 hits spin, and then I somehow missed the setup.
Yeah, it was looking very good up until that moment. I was sad that it happened because you were displaying some. You very clearly have practiced this a bunch, and it was showing. But Lyra's just about to finish up Trinex here.
Like, you'd think after full clearing a scene like this that you'd have a lot of good items. Like, you'd have a better sword.
Yeah, what's
you'd
my
have
butter
better
sword?
main.
I usually get butter sword like after 2 dungeons.
Yeah, no, just the bare minimum of sword and no mail upgrades. They all have to be hanging out in Ganon's tower.
And also no safety too as well. No,
Yeah, half magic.
no powder, no half
Mhm.
magic.
Man, I bet Randomizer room is like amazing. So yeah, I think we saw like like literally everything else, unless maybe the big chest in Thieves Town. But I don't even know if we had the key to open
no,
that.
there was nothing. I went back in and checked the menu for.
Oh, that's right, you did. Okay. Yeah, Lyra picking up the 7th crystal, and we'll be heading right on over to Ganon's tower.
I have a feeling Lyra may.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, knowing that she's lost, she might just continue to pick up items, and maybe we'll get to see where all these safeties are.
I don't think she's comfortable with Master Sword Ganon in general. I think she may have been forced to do it in a tournament race, or in a race before.
Did she take a death somewhere?
She did die to Trinix,
No,
just a little bit ago.
She had a ferry. She had a ferry.
Oh yeah, that's right, never mind. I don't remember if she had any, like, significant deaths before. I don't know.
It's kind of hard to tell because there were like so many fairies and bottles and all sorts of nonsense just happening throughout the seed. It was very difficult to keep track of whether or not people were, or the U2 runners were protected or not at the moment.
Oh, I think she had death to Mothula.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
Okay, so she's not searching GT basement for a sword. Like, the thing is, at this point, you've cleared so much of the rest of the game. Actually, you know what? She did clear Mire. I don't know. But, like, having cleared this much of the game, you gotta know how likely it is that there's a sword down there. And I think I've seen her struggle with MS Ganon before, so I was kind of expecting that she would look for a sword, but maybe not.
Might be banking on something being in the climb, which unfortunately we know is not the case.
Oh, you know what? I think, like you said earlier, she knows that she's lost, so she probably just wants to have some fun with Master Sword Ganon.
That's entirely possible too.
I know that she likes to do, if she knows that she's like in a definite losing position, she likes to start kind of doing silly stuff.
So Monoci, any other thoughts on this seed?
That ether tablet got me for a moment. It says I make many boons. That would be like the 10 bombs, right?
I'm thinking it's the 10 bomb item that was added for Uncle in this mode. I'm not entirely sure. I've never seen that before.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, that got me confused for a moment.
Yeah, but you ended up getting Bombos later anyway, so...
I know
Wasn't
Bombos is Ring of Fire, so like I know it wasn't that.
Okay, well, Monoci, if you want, you can stick around, or, you can...
Yeah, I'm gonna head out for lunch, guys.
Yeah, it sounds like a
thanks-
good plan.
Thanks for the commentary, and thanks Fiso for the restream.
Hey, and thanks for the plays, and GG.
Yeah, GG. Thanks for showing us that seed, I guess.
Let's hope I get a better seat next time.
I don't think that'll be hard.
I think the probability is that you will have a lot better seed next time.
Alright, guys. Later.
Later. Lyra taking out the Landmolus.
Like, this is really crazy. Like, we saw a win with a 212, and he did make the wrong, like, call in the end.
Mhm.
But it wasn't, like, he didn't play badly.
No,
at all,
for sure. Like, this seed kind of had it out for, like, any runner. I kind of wonder how fast this could be done. Because it was a lot of running around, not a lot of direction.
So, that collection rate of 163, that's actually, like, really underselling the seed here because of how immediate the big key was in Ganon's Tower. Usually you'd see a much higher number in a situation like this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's basically, add approximately, 10 or so to it. That's what, an average seed would have. I should say average seed with this particular string of trolls. And chat mentioning, it's sometimes impossible to get, a full clear of all the items. It's because some of those chests are locking themselves. But I don't think we saw that in this particular seed.
I think Lyra, so I saw Lyra do a reflexive menu, and I think she was trying to switch to the powder for the anti-fairies and then realized that she didn't have it.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to assume at this point that you have the powder, especially when you've basically gotten every item location in the game of value. Oh, Lyra bombing the chest and putting a block on it, but still picking it up.
Of all the things I've seen people do to that chest, I haven't seen too much of people putting Samaria blocks on it.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
I like how it was just completely covering it, like as if it wasn't there.
Yep, and Lyra's pulled out the bug net, so we'll be seeing some fun things here.
So we have some talk about self-locking keys as of V28, and that being the reason you can't 100% some seeds. I want to say that doesn't happen in Key Sanity, because like the reason that it was introduced is because it lets the logic have more possibilities for where dungeon items are going to be within a dungeon. It's like things like Palace of Darkness. The key placements are a lot more restrictive if you don't have this like caveat.
Right.
Key Sanity doesn't suffer from that quite as much, so I think that the keys might not be able to lock themselves in that, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think they might. I played a bunch of Key Sanity. I was in the tournament, and I seem to remember things like the Swamp Big Chest maybe having that, but it's really hard to tell because those keys can be anywhere. Alright, Lyra opting not to go into the Ganon fight right away. Oh, going to get a free potion from the Pyramid Fairy.
I don't know if we've seen what this is, but yeah, in Randomizer, you can throw a bottle in here, and you will get a random bottle content depending on the seed.
Yeah, and we got a red potion there, which pretty helpful. Refilled refilled Lyra's life there. And also going to be grabbing a fairy.
The vanilla game, you can throw a bottle into Fat Fairy, and she'll give you a green potion refill.
Yeah, the Pyramid and Waterfall Fairies both give green potions in vanilla. And
I wasn't sure if the Waterfall Fairy did or not.
Yeah, 100%. Ooh, narrowly dodging the trident there.
Oh, and again, it can be tough if you miss a spin, because a lot of times you're expecting the knockback from the spin to help you dodge the trident.
Yep, and you can easily be caught flat-footed at that case. Though some very nice dodging so far from Lyra.
Yeah, it looks like she's playing it pretty safe too. Like, she wasn't really going for any of the double spins when getting this close to the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately, Ganon is just picking all the worst places. Lyra getting a fairy revival here.
She almost hookshot into one of those fire bats. That's a bit the danger behind hookshotting the torches.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really hesitant to use this blue potion because of how full her magic is. She
Yeah.
doesn't have much of a choice at this point.
Yeah, opting
Actually,
not...
yeah, she could have used the cape.
Yeah, I would have brought out the cape there, but that's probably not on the forefront of her mind.
Cape is something that, like, personally, I hardly ever think to use on the Ganon fight. Mostly because, like, I came to Randomizer from speedrunning the vanilla game, and in any percent, like, you're not gonna grab the cape, and even in 100%, you'll have so much other stuff that the cape is just not useful. So it just doesn't. It rarely occurs to me to use it.
Right. I, however, am much more reckless, so I will definitely bring out that cape, and especially if I have like Tempered Sword and just kind of wail on Ganon, given the opportunity. Alright, we're in the 4th phase now. And we get the torch glitch.
And she starts off with a silver spin, and almost gets another one.
And why not?
That's one of the things about Master Sword Silver is it's really easy to accidentally get silverless hits instead of the spin that you want.
Right. And there we go. That's one. Just 3 more to go. Oh! Barely staying on the floor. Alright, this should be number 3. And 1 more to go.
Oh, nice. I like what you did with that spin.
Yeah, anticipating is a great idea. Because where Ganon teleports, he does give kind of a tell to where he's going to be, so you can use that to your advantage there. And Ganon takes a 4th shot. And the official Speed Racing TV time for Lyra is 2 hours, 36 minutes, and 12 seconds. GG.
Yep, and she will be joining us in a little bit. Probably needs to just collect herself a little bit.
Yeah, this seed, you know, I didn't even play it, and I'm just worn out.
This was definitely a long seed, and not having like powerful equipment to get you through it.
Well, you know, we
would
have
definitely wear on you more than like if you had a better sword.
yeah, for sure.
This amount of time.
Yeah, all that good stuff has got to be in Ganon's Tower somewhere. All right. All right, Lyra, GG.
Thanks a bunch, GG.
So is there anything that you want to say about this seed?
Like 1 hour glove to, or 1 hour sword, 2 hour gloves, what?
Yeah, this was a rough one. Early on, when I saw there was in Thieves Town the hookshot and lamp being right next to each other, and I kind of saw that as an ill omen, and I was really hoping for it not to be true, and yet it turned out to be the case, unfortunately. I apologize if I inadvertently cursed the seed.
It was that bad, huh?
I mean, the seed just kind of had both of you runners just all over the place, and with actually relatively little direction and once you got the Titan's myths, you had so many options and you were trying to find the ice rod, and it was. I could sense the frustration.
To be honest with you, I was not really paying attention to the timer, but when I saw it was around 2 something, and I went into Mire to look for the ice rod, and I didn't see it there, I knew for a fact that Monoci actually went up there and completely just passed me at that point.
What's interesting is Monoci did the same things you did, was absolutely convinced that the ice rod was not in Turtle Palace, or at least wanted to make sure that all of his bases were covered before going in. So, unfortunately, by that time, this certain things had just kind of gotten away from you, and it was pretty difficult for you to catch up at some point there.
I guess my real question is, was there ever another sword upgrade found?
No.
So we both had to do Master Sword. Oh goodness.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised you didn't search Base of no GT for a sword.
I saw
but
the
I figured,
big key
like,
on there, and I figured it's just best to get it over with.
Very understandable. I mean, this seed kind of just dragged you along, and the sooner to have it over with, the better, probably. But yeah, Ganon's Tower somewhere has got to have a ton of goodies that we just didn't see. Basically, I think both of you almost like full cleared the game, except for Ganon's Tower.
Did Mothula have anything? That was the other item in Skulllands.
Mothula had, I think, 50 rupees.
Alright, so Mothula and Spike Cave are complete garbage, then I assume.
Yeah, those didn't pay off. I think Spike Cave might have been a big 20. There was just money all over the place. It was actually silly.
I'm really glad I didn't go for that then. I usually ignore Spike Cave to begin with, but I'm glad I didn't go back after Mothula. I think the real question the other question I had in my mind was, did I find the bow first?
I believe no, Monoci found the bow before you did.
Okay, so I was never ahead to begin with, because in the back of my mind I was thinking, oh hey, maybe I actually found the bow first and I have maybe a small lead, and then I went into Mire and I knew it was gone at that point, so oh well, I was never ahead to begin with, it's okay.
I was thinking, like, maybe because Monoci is doing all these extra checks, full cleared ice. Which, I mean, ice is a crystal, so it's obviously where you're going to go first, looking for the ice rod. But went and did Mire, and I was thinking maybe if you decided not to do Mire, it'd be a lot closer. But then you started doing a lot of the same checks that he had done while he was going into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not salty over this. I'm just kind of thinking, oh, the 2-hour glove thing was kind of a kick in the face at that point, though.
Yeah, that particular setup is really mean, because if you have only Hyrule Castle as your Dark World access, if you take a death in the Dark World or something, you have to go all the way back, and it just makes routing a nightmare. And without what the mirror was teasing you up on Bumper Cave, and you didn't have no lift upgrades at that point. It was actually kind of insulting, honestly.
Looking at the 2 deaths that I had, the first one was complete garbage, and literally everybody that saw this would have actually said the same thing, because I just completely got pincered in, and that was the end of that. But the second one, I'm not sure if I could actually blame that on myself or not.
Was the first one Mothula?
No, the second one was Mothula. The first one, when as I was trying to go up towards the witch huts / catfish, and because I didn't have a glove upgrade.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, okay, well that death like really isn't that significant because it's just a short walk from the pyramid. But you spawn back in the light world because you don't have the mirror. But that isn't even that far of a walk either. It wasn't that bad.
It felt kind of bad though, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. The Dark World is pretty dangerous, especially I forget how many hearts you had at the time, but it doesn't afford you a whole lot of protection. Obviously, we never saw any mail upgrades, so forget about that.
So that means pretty much everything was in GT. At that point, I had no more than 10, because I know I skipped a whole one at some point. Oh, that kind of happened.
Yeah, and it's funny, looking at your two's collection rates, 163 and 161. It doesn't tell the whole story at all. That's a that's a fake number right there.
I am not at all surprised at how close the two numbers were, though.
Yeah, definitely. It was. You mentioned there are two places that you didn't check that Monoci did, and those are those two right there. I'm pretty sure.
That's actually really funny that it worked out like that.
Yeah. I'm guessing the other two things on Laser Bridge weren't much of anything either, though.
We don't know what it is, because Monoci skipped Laser Bridge altogether.
I think I ended up running out of the key, and I wanted to go hit the safety while I was looking for the key anyway, so I was like, yeah, let's just go ahead and do this real quick.
And I don't think we saw Mimic Cave either.
No, I skipped past that.
Right. But boy, yeah, that was... That's a heck of a watch. The poor runners are just running all everywhere and trying to deal with the stuff going on here. I felt bad, but it was also really entertaining, and thank you for putting on a really good show and sticking it out to the end too.
If I hadn't cleared Ganon on the first attempt, I probably would have just gotten up for a minute or two, walked away, and then came back, because at that point I was kind of just holding it in, thinking, oh gosh, I'm just want to get this over with right now.
I was just gonna say you had a lot of great dodges on that fight. I commented about it while it was happening. It's very very cautious, but it paid off in the end, and having that fairy help too. And
I kind of goofed the positioning on the second phase, and that's what ended up using up the fairy in the first place.
Well, to be fair, Ganon kind of picked some bad locations. Like, he never went into the upper right corner, where you can kind of catch your breath a little bit and get a few hits in for free. But,
yeah, he trolled me the entire time, especially with the teleports too.
Yep, but at least it's all over now, and the seed can't hurt us anymore.
The pain and suffering is over with.
There will be another one, I'm sure.
4 more to go.
Well, do you have any last thoughts about the seed before you go and delete it from your computer or wherever you have it stored? And
to be honest with you, I actually saved most of the past ones that I do, just to go back and try to see if I can better upon it on a different file or something. I wanted to thank everybody for watching, thank DVO and my BFF Elm here for doing commentary. I hope it was more entertaining than I made it out to be. And super thanks to Kari for tracking for that. And of course, Diesel for restreaming. It's been a blast, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 weeks of this torture.
Yeah, now's about a great time to say, Twitch.tv Monoci85 and Twitch.tv Lyra SRL. You should be following these runners. They put on a really good show for you. It was a lot of fun, despite the heartbreak and all of the mixed emotions that we have. But
I'm a total potato. I don't know why you'd follow me.
But anyway, again, thank you to Carissa for tracking for us, doing a wonderful job there, keeping us commentators in line. And, also we have twitch.tv Elminster RTA and twitch.tv DVOXS in case you want to give us a follow too. You know, it's up to you. So, are there any last thoughts that you have, or before we close it down for the evening?
No, send us all to bed because this is way earlier than I expected to be on, so I'm actually kind of tired.
Fair enough. And with that, I don't believe I don't know if there's any other races going on right now to check out, but you know, go ahead and give Speed Gaming 1 through 6 a follow, and as well as ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. If you are craving more rando speedruns and great runners doing great things, absolutely give those a follow, and you have basically unlimited content. It's amazing. Go do it.
Yeah, we're down to our last races for this week. I think there might be one currently going on that's like finishing right now, but we're at the end of this week, so like, you know, in a few hours we're gonna have our what's the word? I'm lost for words here. We're gonna have our pairings hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning for the next week, and we'll see how week 4 goes.
Yeah, we'll probably be starting up relatively early on Monday, as long as people schedule their matches for then. You know.
Yeah, like especially for this tournament, people are always like really enthusiastic about getting their matches in, and so yeah.
Yep, and
We do have 2 more races of other games tonight on Speed Gaming. SG1 has a tournament race of Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland. That tournament just started up recently. And on SG3, also at 10 p.m. Eastern, we have the weekly Zelda 1 randomizer race. And yeah, also don't forget to follow ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. We have a lot of matches from this tournament broadcast on there as well, because there are just too many each week to fit them all in Speed Gaming.
Yeah, that's 250 races per week basically. It's if you're hurting for rando, well, you're not looking in the right place. So.
Yeah, so I think that'll do it for us. Thanks to our runners, Monoci and Lyra, again for running for us. And yeah, I've been Elminster RTA.
And I am DVOXS. And may your seeds be better than this one. Night all.